What is the most important tool you need to write a script? Laptop? Chair? Software? Nope. It's the question mark. When you're writing, it's very hard not to have the feeling that the finished work is out there somewhere, waiting for you to get to it. But it's not, and it's really important that you remember that. You are creating your script by making choices. Every step of the process, you are faced with a blank space or a bunch of possibilities. And in the face of that horrifying emptiness or confusion, don't waste your time trying to guess if you're getting closer to this thing that doesn't actually exist. Ask questions so you can make choices. Writing is a process of questions. Your most valuable tool is a box of questions. Luckily, I have a good starter set right here, and I'm going to give it to you in this video. This is the simplest, most reliable process for writing I know. Write a question down, and then write the answer. Whatever answer you've got, best you can do at the moment. If that answer is not something that you can add to the outline as an idea for a scene, keep asking questions until it is. And when you get it that way, you put it in the outline. And then in the outline, within each scene, ask more questions, write down more answers over and over until you feel like you know what's happening in every moment for every character through the whole story. And then you get to the last question. Which words should I use when I'm writing this scene? And the answer to that one is, you write the script, moment by moment, line by line, word by word. That's it. That's how you write. So, exactly what are these questions you're supposed to be asking? Get out a pen and paper. Seriously, I'm going to give you the tools. We start with the classics. Who, what, where, when, and why. For example, if you're working on a mystery, then obviously somebody has to be solving something, so what is the mystery? What is the wrong thing that must be solved or understood? The answer is that you make a choice. If you're not ready to do that yet, that's fine. Just write down possible answers. Brainstorm. A theft, an unexpected death, a missing person. Let's say we choose missing person. Great. Hit the classics. Who were they? How did they go missing? When? Where were they when they went missing? Where did they go? Why did they go missing? Who's looking for them? Once you start asking and answering the classics, pretty soon you get a huge pile of characters and incidents and details. And then you're ready to ask the 6 essential questions. Who is it about? What do they want? Why can't they get it? What do they do about that? Why doesn't that work? And how does it end? I did a whole video just on these 6 questions, and I urge you to watch it. Those 6 questions will give you a story. They can also give you a scene if you need it, or a line. Just keep asking them. If you don't know what to write, ask those 6. Now, keep that pencil and paper ready, because I've got more useful questions for you to use. Is it specific? Writers are afraid to get specific. It always feels like the audience is going to judge your choice as too personal or not important enough. When you get specific, you get vulnerable. But all you really have to work with are small specific choices. A character saying a line or taking an action. You actually cannot get too specific. Sidney Lumet, in his book Making Movies, wrote that every scene and line and shot in a movie is kind of like a piece of a mosaic. It just has to be clearly and distinctly itself, and then put them together to make the big picture. David Mamet wrote, "A nail doesn't have to be a house. It has to be a nail." And Richard Price said, "You don't write about the horrors of war. No, you write about a kid's burnt socks lying in the road." Another important question, is it simple? There are not that many scenes in a script and not that many words in a scene. Screen stories live intensely in the moment. They can't stay still and they can't go back. And the actors and the directors, they're working moment by moment. And in each of those moments, the audience can only focus on so much. Simple really just means you've thought about it. You know what's essential, what's the core, the heart, the engine of each moment. Simple does not rule out ambiguity and layers of meaning, but each layer is itself simple. Complexity is the combination of simple things. So ask, am I there? Do I understand this? Will the audience be in this moment? Is it simple? Here's another good question. What changes? Someone is doing something in every scene. What are they trying to change? What happens when they try to change it? Sometimes the change is between the scenes. It's the difference between one scene and the next. Or we get to a place we've never been, we meet a new person, maybe it's routine to the characters, but it's new to us, the audience. That's still a change. What changes is also a reminder to you to mix it up. If you've had your characters indoors for a long time, try and get them outside. If you just had a chase, don't have another chase, lock your people in an elevator. Vary your sentence structure. If you've had a bunch of short sentences, have a long one. If you've had a bunch of long ones, have a short one. Okay, this is a big one. How do we know that? When producers and executives and inexperienced writers talk about a script, they throw around all these ideas, but a real screenwriter has to be asking all the time, how will the audience know that? This seems like a question you don't need to bother asking, but it's actually one of the key problems of screenwriting. The ways that a script or a screen can convey ideas or information are ridiculously limited. A character knows how to read lips, or they're engaged, or there's a war happening, or somebody wants a drink. How do we know any of that? What action or scene or line of dialogue is going to reveal it to us? Who says it? If nobody says it, what do we see that tells us? How do we know this is pretty much the whole task of screenwriting. Ask yourself this question a lot. Okay, this one is really useful. What do I have? When you don't know what to write or a problem seems too big, ask yourself, what have I got so far? You never have nothing. You've got the characters and the locations and the themes and the genre. You've got the story up to a certain point. You've got the goals you want to get to. Everything you've got becomes a stepping stone. Look at the steps you have and you'll be able to use that to figure out what goes in the place where you have the problem. Another really good one. What is the action? A script is made out of scenes and every scene is about an action. So you can always ask, what is happening in this scene? Who is trying to accomplish something and what are they doing to try and make it happen? And why now? People act or speak for a reason. So, what specifically happened to make your character want to say this line or make this decision or take this action? What opportunity or challenge or provocation showed up? Can I cut it? If you cut this bit, what would not happen? What would not make sense? Are you showing every step of a process when you could just cut to the end? Is this bit repeating some kind of action or information? Sometimes stuff is just delightful on its own, and you want to leave it in just because. But most of the time, if you can cut it, you probably should. Can I cut it also shows you those few but important things you cannot cut, the ones that have to be absolutely protected no matter what else has to change. What is it like for them? What is it like for the people in the story in this exact moment? Forget about what the audience needs to know or what you want to get out of this. Forget about what other shows and movies have done. For just a moment, you don't exist, the audience doesn't exist. What is it like for these characters in this moment? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What do they need? What are they trying to do? Ask this a lot. What is it like for them? What is this about? What am I trying to say? What does this mean? What do I want people to take away from it? Does this scene fulfill an expectation of the genre? And try this one. Is this the most interesting, emotional, original, exciting version of this scene or idea? Okay, there's a starter pack, a bunch of really useful questions to make part of your process. I know I told you had to write them down, but I'm going to put them in the description of this video so that you can just copy and paste. The great thing about having this process of questions is, no matter how new or hard or intimidating a project might seem when you're starting it, you can always say, at least I know what questions to ask. No matter how bad it gets, no matter how far in over your head you are, you always have something you can do now. Look at what you've got and ask more questions. All right, that's enough for now. Go write something. If you like this video and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to ask me a question or work with me on one of your projects one-on-one, go to writingforscreens.com. Or that confusing set of possibilities. Then write more, then within every scene, ask. That choice is not... It always... feels as like the audience is what? Or challenge shared up. Sure. Questions for you to yeah. The great theme. A line, an action. That was dumb. Too personal or not important enough. I wish I had gotten that right.